Mike Radich here, and I'm now joined on the phone by MMA Veteran Charlie Brenneman. Charlie, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Charlie, I'm sorry if I start off by being so generic, but I wanted to ask you a little bit about your UFC run. You were 4-4 during your time with the organization. Let's just start with the positive. Let's start with your wins. What do you think your best performance was? Was it the Rick Story fight because the storyline that was built into it and you took the fight on very short notice? Was it that fight, or is there another fight that stands out as your best performance?
No, it would probably, most definitely be the Story fight. Just everything that came together. Technically during that fight I did a lot of things that I was happy with as well. So, that one definitely takes the cake.
Mm-hmm. And now to the negative, the losses. It was kind of strange, some of those losses that you had, because the knockouts that you suffered, they weren't very decisive. There was sometimes the referee, he could have let the fight go on, maybe stopped it too soon. What were your thoughts about some of those stoppages that you had in those fights?
The most frustrating fight out of my losses, out of my 4 losses, was without a doubt the Noke loss. Mm-hmm. That's the only fight that, I'm really disappointed and I can't believe I lost that fight. All the other guys were, they were legit. The 2 of them are contenders, and one of them's fighting at 205. So, I can fall in that field, but the Noke loss is really hard to take.
Mm-hmm. And in those fights, how badly hurt were you? Because it looked like, usually when somebody suffers a TKO, they lay down on the mat for a little while. Usually every time that you were put down, the minute the referee stopped it, you were back and you looked like you were back in it and ready to fight. How hurt were you in those?
Yeah, if you look at the 3 TKOs against Hendricks, I was there. I got hit a lot, but, I was still there. And I don't really... I definitely wasn't out or incompetent, but, I feel I could have continued fighting. And then, the Johnson didn't put me out. It definitely, I would say, flash knockout, flash KO'd me, for a split second, then I had my wits. But the worst was the Noke fight. The other 2 I can live with, and, the rest job is to look out for the fighter, so, I understand that, but, the Noke one was really bad.
Mm-hmm. In that Noke fight, not to make an excuse or anything, but is it possible that you peaked for UFC 151 and then when that got canceled and you had to fight at UFC 152, was that a factor at all, that maybe you had peaked going into that fight too soon and you weren't right on fight night, or did the training leading up to that fight have nothing to do with the outcome?
No, what you said didn't really affect it.
Mm-hmm.
It was just, that what comes down to all of the losses are just my hands aren't up on my chin, and I'm leaving my head wide open for people to punch me. So whether I would have trained a day for that fight or whether I would have trained a year, it wouldn't have changed if, my hands were down around my chest.
Sure. Just curious, when the UFC released you, were you surprised, or did you kind of see coming with all your losses being stoppages?
I kind of, in my gut, I kind of had a feeling. A lot of people were saying, no way, only 2 losses, you took that Story fight, but I see the inside, I see the behind-the-scenes stuff, and, I had a good feeling that I was going to get cut.
Mm-hmm. When the UFC released you, how did you find out about the release, or did your manager talk to you? What exactly?
They talked to my manager. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of thankful that I didn't find out online or something like that, so, I just got my manager called me, and, that was that.
Mm-hmm. Usually when the UFC releases someone, they say, go out and get a couple wins and then we'll bring you back. Is that what they told your manager?
Yeah.
Left you in the
I think it's kind of status quo for everyone who gets cut. I'm not sure, unless you go 0-2 or 0-3 or whatever, I'm not sure that they say to anyone you're never coming back. I think they leave the door open, but I don't think I was special in any case. It's pretty clear, get some wins, get some finishes, and then we'll talk.
Mm-hmm. After you found out from your manager that you had been released, did you have a couple days there where you just had to sit back, reevaluate everything, and decide if you wanted to continue to do this? Did you have that at all?
I don't know. I wouldn't, kind of, initially, I look at everything objectively. I want to make sure I can make a good living, live the life I want to live, and if I can do that, and stay healthy, then, I'll keep fighting. But if it gets to a point, with this industry, who knows where it's going, in the regional scene, you make less money now than you did 4 or 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. So if there comes a point where it becomes retroactive and I know that, I put fight. So I'm not going to fight for chump money, you know, and if it comes to a point in time where other guys, you know, of the level that I think I'm at start to fight for chump money, then, you know, I'll move on because it's not worth it.
Mm-hmm. Do you have something in mind that you want to do if you decide to stop fighting? Do you have anything in mind that you want to do?
I have a million things in mind, but I just got to put pen to paper.
Oh, I see. And CFX on December 15th, there's a rumored fight between you and Tony Martin. Is this fight happening, or is it just a rumor?
No, it's not happening. Okay. There were a couple possibilities that was going to happen, but no, nothing ever finalized.
Mm-hmm. Because I was looking on their website, and they really haven't said anything about it, and none of the major websites have said anything about it. And then I read on your fan page, your Facebook fan page, that you're going to have a seminar on the same day that fight was taking place. So that's why I thought I'd have to ask. And now the seminar, is this something that you had planned on doing, you know, regardless, or is this just a way, you know, to make some extra money while you have this little layoff?
No, I mean, I don't really know. I do seminars whenever I can, and this opportunity came up, and I was free, so, you know, it was a good opportunity to get one win.
Mm-hmm. And where's this going to be at? If anyone's interested in coming down, where's it going to be at?
Absolutely. It's in Newtown, Pennsylvania, at the Newtown Athletic Club. It's around Philadelphia, so if you're in that area. But it is Saturday, December 15th. From 9 to 10, there'll be a little bit of a meet and greet, and then from 10 to 12, we'll be doing a seminar. Mm-hmm. And you can get the information. I'll repost it, but you can get the information on my Facebook fan page or my Twitter page.
Mm-hmm. One last thing about that CFX fight, I was a little bit surprised that was going to be your first fight post UFC. I thought that maybe Ring of Combat was going to be an organization. You have a history with them. I thought that maybe you were going to go back there. Also, CES MMA. They're an organization doing some good things out on the East Coast. I thought maybe that was going to be a spot for you. World Series of Fighting, I thought some of the Access TV fight cards, Resurrection Fighting Alliance, Legacy, I thought some of those organizations would have been a good fit for you. Have you heard from any of those organizations at all?
Yeah, I mean, what my management was doing is I said I'd like to fight in December, so if you can find any, you know, good opportunities, let's look at taking that. And it just, you know, there were, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 different places, but ended up just not working out. So, but after that, yeah, I mean, we've talked to a lot of people, and, you know, hopefully in the next couple days I'll know for sure when I'm fighting. Mm-hmm.
I know it's hard to predict what the UFC is thinking when they're making decisions about which fighters are going to be on their roster and which fighters are not going to be on their roster. What do you think you have to do to get back to the UFC? Do you think that you just have to go out, get a couple wins quickly, and they'll bring you back? Or do you feel that you have to go out and fight some UFC vets to get back there?
You know, I wish I knew the answer to that question, because I don't think anybody does.
Sure.
You know, some of the guys on I guess under the same management have come back after 1 win. Some have come back after a loss and 2 wins. There was one who won 4 in a row. So there's really no set system.
Mm-hmm. Also, are you open to taking a fight on short notice if someone here in the next couple of weeks goes down with an injury, or are you going to be very cautious about taking a fight on short notice because your goal is obviously to get back to the UFC, and taking fights on short notice is kind of risky?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be taking any short notice fights at the regional level, just because it's, you know, it's not worth it. The payoff is not worth the risk. So, you know, probably not that, but hopefully I'll be signing a contract that will enable me to fight very consistently every 2 months or so.
Mm-hmm. The word on the street is you're going to be dropping down to 155 pounds. Was it just because of those last couple of fights in the UFC at 170 that made you decide to drop down, or was it something even before this you had thought about going down to 155?
Well, I'm in the process of kind of trying to figure that out for sure, and just changing a couple things in my diet. But I mean, it's no secret the guys at welterweight in the UFC are gigantic. So I just alter some things in my diet, and I'm kind of seeing where that takes me, and then I'll make a decision after that. Mm-hmm.
I see. Charlie, real quick before I let you go, do you have any sponsors you would like to thank, and is there anything you'd like to say to the fans?
Just thanks thanks for your support of me, and you can find everything at charlie-brenneman.com. Has links to my Twitter, Facebook, blog. I put a lot of work into that, so please, you know, keep tabs on it.
Charlie, thank you for taking the time to talk. I really appreciate it.